Should nothing of our efforts stand, no legacy survive, unless the Lord does raise the house in vain, its builders strive. To you who boast tomorrow's gain, tell me, what is your life? A mist that vanishes at dawn, all glory be to Christ.
Welcome to the Open Bible Podcast, and I'm Pastor Jeremy Kaliba. And along with my running mate Ethan Jones, we've been taking a proverb a day as we seek to be conformed into the image of Christ. And so I'm encouraged that you're with us today. Today we're in chapter 10, and as we've been journeying through the beginning chapters of Proverbs, we've listened to a father instruct his son in the way of wisdom. And wisdom, as it's been defined so far in the book, is living by faith according to God's character and order. Folly lives according to my character and order, and the first 9 chapters of Proverbs contain these longer lessons and appeals to the son to accept and live wisely. Then we get to chapter 10, and the structure of the book changes. And instead of longer lessons on topics, we have short, witty, and often memorable sayings. And a good way to think of the difference is that in narrative, or even in the first 9 chapters, we have movie clips. And the father reveals something by describing a situation and how it plays out. But in the rest of the book, we have a slideshow, a snapshot, an image, often of wisdom or folly, but it's a still shot. You know, my sister loves to set up slideshows when we get together. When we were younger, but also still these days. And when we were younger, it would be with a projector with the individual slides that you had to organize on the wheel. If you're younger, you'd have to Google this, but it's something that you would click through. And if you were to sit in on one of our family slideshows, you would quickly come to realize something about them. That one picture, one slide does not tell the whole story. Right? There's context, there's background. And as you'd sit with us, there would be a running commentary for you. But the picture was never meant to convey everything about a situation. Rather, it accurately captures a facet, reality from a particular perspective for a particular reason. And this is relevant for us as we get into the slideshow of seemingly isolated sayings in the book of Proverbs. There is context, and the context for chapters 10 through 31 is the first 9 chapters. The Proverbs of this book have currency among those who fear the Lord, who are loyal to Him, so they cannot be separated from that context. The other aspect of this slideshow is that no one proverb says it all. When it comes to the topics in these chapters, none of these snapshots are meant to speak comprehensively. And so when we forget this, we struggle teaching half-truths and whether they accurately portray reality. So as we dive into chapter 10, let's see what the author highlights in these snapshots that we find. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is a sorrow to his mother. Treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but righteousness delivers from death. The Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but He thwarts the craving of the wicked. A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps in harvest is a son who brings shame. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. The memory of the righteous is a blessing, but the name of the wicked will rot. The wise of heart will receive commandments, but a babbling fool will come to ruin. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Whoever winks the eye causes trouble, and a babbling fool will come to ruin. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. On the lips of him who has understanding, wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him who lacks sense. The wise lay up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool brings ruin near. A rich man's wealth is his strong city, the poverty of the poor is their ruin. The wage of the righteous leads to life, the gain of the wicked to sin. Whoever heeds instruction is on the path to life, but he who rejects reproof leads others astray. The one who conceals hatred has lying lips, and whoever utters slander is a fool. When words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, the heart of the wicked is of little worth. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of sense. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Doing wrong is like a joke to a fool, but wisdom is pleasure to a man of understanding. What the wicked dreads will come upon him, but the desire of the righteous will be granted. When the tempest passes, the wicked is no more, but the righteous is established forever. Like vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to those who send him. The fear of the Lord prolongs life, but the years of the wicked will be short. The hope of the righteous brings joy, but the expectation of the wicked will perish. The way of the Lord is a stronghold to the blameless, but destruction to evildoers. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not dwell in the land. The mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut off. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked what is perverse. There's a lot there, isn't it? But one thing we see is that what we pursue matters, and not just for us. A son living wisely, pursuing righteousness, brings joy to his parents, to his family. A son living foolishly, pursuing worldly treasure, brings grief to his parents, to his family. But it's not just what we pursue, it's how we pursue it. In verse 4, we have the irony that lazy hands can produce something. What do lazy hands produce? Poverty. And this is contrasted with diligent hands that produce wealth. You know, there's always a pull for us, especially in our culture, towards passivity. But our culture especially seems to elevate apathy and indifference, trying to get what you can with as little work as possible. It's cool to be negligent today. But our proverb tells us a different story, and they describe that there is much more at stake behind these pursuits and behaviors. What you pursue and how you work doesn't only affect you. It affects those closest to you, your family, your community. A wise son pursues righteousness, and a wise son works diligently. And not just in what we pursue or how we pursue it, but in what we say as well. The theme of our tongue and the words we speak dominates the rest of our proverb. It describes a careless mouth, a babbling fool, a ruinous mouth, lying lips, a perverse tongue, whereas a wise son or daughter speaks carefully. And to speak the truth carefully means to speak with restraint. And again, the words we speak affect more than just us. They affect those around us. And they can bring profit, gladness, joy, or they can bring sorrow and ruin and hurt. They affect those around us. And this is convicting for me because I don't always measure my speech. I often speak before I think, and I have hurt others because of that. And I think this is what I have to ask forgiveness for the most from my kids. And I need to do it even more than I do. Proverbs 10 shows that a wise son or daughter speaks carefully. If you're like me, let me encourage you to read through this proverb a couple more times today. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. We'll talk about this more thoroughly in a couple days in Proverbs 12. But let me ask you a couple of questions that come from chapter 10. What are you pursuing today? Is it something temporary or lasting? Will it ultimately satisfy what you're longing for? And how are you pursuing it? Are you pursuing it casually or diligently? Are you pursuing it when you feel like it or regardless of how you feel? And where do your words lead? Do they lead to the truth, to encouragement, to life? Or do they plow a path towards perversion and ruin? The way of wisdom, trusting the Lord, transforms our pursuits, our work ethic, and our speech for the benefit of those around us. So may we live this out by the power of His Spirit today. Go in His peace.